and we do not want their genetically engineered poisons in our food supply anymore. Now, this movement is about ensuring the health and the safety of our children and our children's children for generations to come. Now, I'm sure that many of you here today know a lot about Monsanto and GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. But for those of you who are new to all of this, I have to say, it's very encouraging to see all of you out here today.
Woo!
Because that means that you have made a conscious decision to get informed and get the facts, helping to raise awareness of this vital issue that affects each and every one of us. Now today, you'll learn a lot about GMOs and their negative impact on public health. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to like what you hear. Because the truth ain't pretty, but it is the reality of the situation. And the reality is that we are living in a very dangerous time in our society. A time in which our elected officials shift their focus from serving the people to serving the interests of multinational billion-dollar corporations that are fueled by greed and engage against crimes against humanity.
Woo!
I don't know about you, but that pisses me off.
Fuck yeah.
Now, Monsanto is the world's largest seed producer, as well as the world's largest pesticide manufacturer. Now, that in itself is very troubling. There's your red flag right there. Monsanto's GMOs and pesticides are directly linked to multiple cancers, autism, infertility, endometriosis, organ failure, premature puberty in children, and respiratory illnesses, as well as the colony collapse in the world's bee population, which, of course, you know we need to survive. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a never-ending downward spiral of shame coming from these people. Now, our state lawmakers and representatives are supposed to be exactly that, representatives of us, the people. You and I. Now, sadly, though, in our state, that is not the case. For example, our very own state senator, Roy Blunt, working hand-in-hand with Monsanto by his own admission, drafted legislation that has become known as the Monsanto Protection Act. Now, this particular provision allows Monsanto to promote and plant GMOs and genetically engineered seeds that are free from any and all judicial litigation, even if a court has determined that the crops pose a threat to human health. Now think about that. Monsanto controls over 70% of our nation's food supply, and they're allowed to co-write their own laws protecting them from any accountability if their products are proven to be unsafe. To top it off, Roy Blunt received over $250,000 in campaign contributions from Monsanto between the years of 2008 and 2012. Apparently our politicians can be bought. That's right. The fact that Senator Blunt has sold out the people of Missouri and the nation is absolutely shameful. And it is, in my opinion, that he should be removed from office effective immediately. And this is not even an issue of, oh, this Republican did this or this Democrat did that. No. Both sides, left and right, are directly responsible for the power Monsanto has been given over our food supply. On March 29th, the bill containing the Monsanto Protection Act was signed into law by President Obama. The same Barack Obama who, when on the campaign trail in 2007, vowed to, and I quote, "Let folks know when their food is genetically modified because Americans have the right to know what they're buying." What happened to that?
He's a liar.
We have no federal GMO labeling laws in this country. Monsanto and the government are basically saying that you don't have the right to know what's in your food. And that is absolutely appalling. In 2008, Barack Obama also promised if he became president, the American people would have 5 days to review all legislative bills before he signed them, in an effort to make his administration more transparent. And that didn't happen either. Now, I will tell you one thing the president has done since taking office. He appointed a man named Michael Taylor as a senior advisor to the FDA. He now holds the title of Deputy Commissioner of Foods at the FDA. Now, what you may not know is Michael Taylor, before his position with the FDA, was the Vice President of Public Policy for Monsanto. Now, Michael Taylor's jumped back and forth in different positions within the FDA and Monsanto multiple times over the years. And in the early 1990s, he held the position of Food Safety Czar for the FDA. At a time when GMOs were first introduced into our food supply without undergoing one single test to determine their safety or health risks. It's all starting to come together now, isn't it? That's not all. The government's love affair with Monsanto reaches so deep it's difficult to even fathom. It goes all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, which brings me to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, Justice Thomas has provided over multiple lawsuits involving Monsanto over the years, and he's ruled in Monsanto's favor every single time. Now, it just so happens that before Clarence Thomas was appointed as Supreme Court Justice, he was an attorney for Monsanto. Now, let that sink in for a second. You can't make this stuff up. Huge conflict of interest. These are just a few examples of corruption between the United States government and Monsanto, and the list just goes on and on. And I think it's really all the proof we need to realize that our elected officials and our judges, the people entrusted to do what is right for the American people, have failed us. Seems everybody has a price these days, all but a select few. And only through spreading awareness of this is a revolution possible. And that's exactly what this calls for. Drastic steps are necessary to protect our children and our families from the systematic poisoning that is going on at the hands of Monsanto. People are sick and dying, and it does not have to be this way. So it is time to put an end to Monsanto's stranglehold on the world's food supply. Yes. Monsanto has been banned by Austria, Bulgaria, Bolivia, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Japan, New Zealand, Peru, Russia, France, South Australia, and Switzerland, just to name a few. That is very encouraging. I think it's time for the rest of the world to follow suit. Now, the march against Monsanto is only the beginning. And there is an awakening going on right now. We cannot afford to wait any longer. Either mankind will stop Monsanto or Monsanto will stop mankind. So today, all of you are taking part in what could very well turn out to be one of the largest organized protests in history. With over 2 million participants across the globe. We stand with you and say, enough is enough!
Yeah!
Now, I myself am very proud to be a part of this, and you should all be very proud of yourselves for standing up for what is right.
Woo!
So you guys ready to have an awesome time today?
Woo!
Are you with me just today?
Woo!
That's what I like to hear. At this time, I would like to introduce you to someone who has done so much for this event. And without her help, we could not have pulled this off. And she deserves a huge round of applause and gratitude for her efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-organizer and friend, United States Navy veteran and human rights activist, Casey Henderson.
Woo!